Some interesting information regarding gear inside of Diablo Immortal. We're talking about ancestral gear, we're talking about cursed gear, and we're talking about your traditional legendary gear here today. Now, I'm going to start this out by prefacing that I recently got back into my warband. I was essentially warbandless for 2 months, not participating in anything warband related. So my warband that I was in had a spot open up and I joined back. As you can notice right here, I have yet to put in a piece of gear. I cannot find any gear with ancestral properties. Now, I've probably, since I've joined back into the warband, put about 8 hours into the game. This is 8 hours into open world farming, 8 hours into events, 8 hours into all elements of the game, yet I still can't find an ancestral piece of gear. Now, I recall in the past always running into gear, finding ancestral ones and being like, okay, this is a pain. I already have the one that I need, and now I have to like go through extra steps at the blacksmith to get rid of this stuff. But things have changed, and we just had a tweet come out yesterday from our data miner, Datamine ARPG. I'll be linking him down below. If I happen to forget to do that, his handle is at Datamine ARPG on Twitter. Now, he says this: highly speculative, but I've spotted something new. An additional main hand and an additional offhand weapon slot. Now, it was added to the game files in the last patch, what does this mean for the game? It's unclear at this point, but for me, could it be like swapping gear? What are our thoughts? So this brings up a whole discussion here, and I don't have hard numbers for you, but I do have the gist of the discussion. So we have the multiple different types of gear, right? As you could see, where are we here? I'm wearing a cursed piece of gear right here. I'm wearing regular legendary gear. And of course, we have the ancestral gear that we have that goes in our tableau. Now, the drop rates of this gear has drastically changed since we've gotten cursed gear inside of the game, to the point where it is barely ever being dropped, that being the ancestral gear. So for most people, I would assume this isn't really a problem. If you've been in your warband for a while, you're there and you have the gear that you need, and really you're not actively trying to always improve that one piece of ancestral gear that you have slotted, which is totally cool. But for someone that's new to a warband, or for someone like myself that just got back into the warband, it can be difficult to find these things, and I would anticipate the first piece that I find is not going to be very good. I'm probably gonna run into something that is mediocre at best, and it's gonna take a while for me to find more. And it's been said that the drop rate of ancestral gear could be as low as 3%. That means out of every 100 pieces that drops, only 3% of those can have ancestral properties, which can then be used in the ancestral tableau. So I guess this brings up a whole discussion point here. We have our legendary gear, which used to be the ultimate, the high and mighty. You know, you got your gear, you have your attributes, you have your bonuses, and it's great. But it seems like the cursed gear is kind of taking over and being more of the meta. Now, I'll be fair, I don't grind cursed gear the way that some others do. So right here, I have a piece of cursed gear, the Ferocious Gale cursed gear, and I don't even think I have any of the properties unlocked on it. No, I haven't done any of the cursed properties. Damage dealt is reduced by 4. See, this would really bother me. The damage dealt is reduced by 4% for 1 second after defeating an enemy. I don't want the negative attributes. Now, when your summons enter, this is a piece that I would not want to use at all. I don't have summons. So if I were to put another piece of this type of cursed gear, the Vexed and Jammed, well, then I would be in trouble because I'd literally be making my build weaker. I don't get the positive element of the build, and the negative is going to impact me in a negative way. Let's see what we have over here for pants right now. Okay, Merciless Assault. So I do have this one. Furious Charge now charges to a location. No, that's not it. It's right down here. Curse properties. Your primary attack now has a chance to generate 3 crackling whips that target nearby enemies, dealing 24% of your damage per second over 3 seconds to enemies they hit. Cannot happen more than every 30 seconds. I actually love this. It's great. Every so often, the whips will pop out. It'll do damage. I absolutely love it. And pairing that with Howler's Call, where I have a wolf that periodically shoots out and takes care of enemies in front of me, also works good. But look at this. And this is why this piece of gear is perfect for me. damage dealt by your summons reduced by 4%. I don't have summons, so this is great. I'm getting the benefit of the whips, but I'm not really taking any negative element here because I don't use a summons build. So this right here is a perfect piece of cursed gear for me to use with my class. If a necromancer were using this, this would not be okay. They wouldn't want this piece of gear. Let's see what else we have over here. This is another one that is not getting any of the cursed properties being used. When 1,000 winds deactivates, you send tornado knocking away. Damage dealt by your summons. This is actually, this could actually be a nice one as well because it's another summons one. And what do we have over here? We have your primary attack has a chance to generate the whips, which is great, but my beneficial effect duration is reduced by 3%. Now we know that you can re-roll the top, but you cannot re-roll the bottom. So you're really looking at your gear and saying, I want the ones that don't have that negative effect that's going to hurt me. So right here, this is actually a good piece of gear because I have a negative effect that's not going to hurt me. Damage dealt by your summon. So I could try to re-roll 1,000 winds deactivates because I don't use 1,000 winds, right? But here, this one is working out pretty okay. Beneficial effects duration reduced by 3%. I'd rather not have that, but I do like this right here, that property. So this adds a lot of complexity to our builds inside of the game and really makes it, adds a lot more depth. With that being said, it's also annoying because every time you get to a new hell level, you're going to be getting new gear that's stronger and you're going to have to swap it out. And then you're going to have to kind of scurry around and try and find the ones that have the negative effects. It's a lot more gear searching. And essentially that's what these types of action RPG, dungeon crawler style games are. You're essentially always looking to strengthen your build and have stronger stuff. So cursed gear, it's good for people that want to put in the hours of grind to find the perfect set at that hell level. And then a month and a half later, they're going to the next hell level and have to do it all over again. For me, I'd rather not have to do that, but you know what? I don't have to because I could equip a cursed gear and not actually get the properties. I could just literally throw on the strongest gear. It will not optimize my build the way that I could if I did go further with it, but I'm still putting in the strongest gear and hopefully the negative properties don't hurt me over time inside of the game. Or I could just stay with the regular legendary gear and play as I have been. So we're not being forced to do anything, but the true issue here is with the ancestral gear because like I said, just cannot find this stuff. And it's been quite a few days. Let me know, when's the last time that you went to go salvage something and it said, you have a piece of ancestral gear here. Are you sure you want to salvage this item? Because for me, it has been a minute. And I really could use a piece right now because I want to take some extra buffs here for my warband, for my tableau, and for myself. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are you seeing with this type of gear? Is this a problem or is this just more depth inside of Diablo Immortal? I guess that depends on who you are as a player and how much of a grinder you really are. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.